It was the year 2020, and it had almost been 4 months since Epic Games dropped one of their biggest expansions to their biggest game yet. This expansion obviously being Fortnite Chapter 2. And people were already bored, justifiably. Epic Games had been practically neglecting the game for the entire season, with even going 58 days without having any updates for the entire season. Fortnite needed the next season to be something truly amazing, or their game that had been one of the most popular games in the world at one point would fall even further. And this is exactly how Epic Games cooked up one of the greatest seasons and made one of the best comebacks that Fortnite has ever had. And with a pandemic on the horizon, little did they know how impactful this season would be for the entirety of Fortnite. So this is my analysis on Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 2.
Welcome to the agency. You come highly recommended.
Now, in my opinion, Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 2 easily takes the cake for one of the best themed seasons. I just think the agency vibe is so cool, and Fortnite has tried to replicate it in the future, but obviously they never compare because this season is just so unbeatable. But yeah, obviously it had this very top secret agent type of vibe to it, you know, spies and everything. And it's not the theme that makes it so unique, it's the way that it was executed. Everything that they did inside of the season was just so amazingly well done. The skins, not just the Battle Pass skins, but even the item shop skins were so on point to the season's theme. The map was also amazing. We got a lot of iconic POIs introduced just in one season. Probably some of the best I've ever seen from Fortnite's loot pool. It was just crazy what we got in that season. And the LTMs were just unbeatable. They were so good and so fun. They were just so refreshing. And the season was pretty revolutionary for the game in some ways, with having the bosses, which stayed along with Fortnite even to this season, the one that we're currently in, which is just so crazy that we still have them. I'm gonna get into all of this. Just overall, this season's vibes were insane. And that's why I love this season so much, and it's really just unbeatable for me. Now, I say this all the time, but I think one of the most important things in every single season are the battle passes. I mean, they're basically what represents the entire season to a certain degree, at least they should. Because I mentioned this in another video, but everyone always looks back and they go, oh, that's the Midas season, or oh, that's the Mandalorian season, stuff like that. So I really think it's important to have a strong set of skins for your battle pass, especially having them be on theme with the entire season. And that's what made this battle pass so special. Not just with these skins being some of the best looking skins we've seen in Fortnite, and you know, still being some of the most iconic skins we have to this day, but also just how well they went with the season's theme. Starting off with Midas, probably one of the best battle pass skins we've ever gotten, especially for a 100 tier skin. He really just takes the cake. We also got Meowscles, another really good looking skin, in more ways than one, but you know, we don't gotta talk about that. This is also one of Fortnite's most iconic skins, just like Midas, and I would say in some ways even more than Midas, because Meowscles is in like every single Fortnite trailer. Agent Peely, one of my favorite reskins of Peely, it just looks so good. Maya was also a really cool idea for a skin, and even her base style just looks really good. It's probably my favorite version of her. Brutus was by far the funniest looking skin in the battle pass, but it was pretty cool when he, you know, he got his ghost and shadow styles. Sky reminded me a lot of an Adventure Time character. I don't know why, but also her pickaxe looks exactly like a Master Sword. I don't care what you say, and I just have to give her some points for that. And TNT was probably my least favorite skin in the battle pass, but the cell shading of her looks so amazing. Lastly, the secret skin Deadpool, probably one of the best secret skins we've gotten. I just love Deadpool, and I think the skin looks really good. They did a really good job with it. And not to forget the battle pass screen that we got for this season. I don't know why they stopped doing these battle pass screens, because they were so sick. I don't know what happened to these. Epic, please bring these back. Even the item shop looked really good in these seasons. I can't remember it too well, but I remember we got those box skins. We got the Psylocke skin. We got a few other Marvel skins, I'm pretty sure, before the actual Marvel season came out. But yeah, overall, Epic was going crazy with the skins these seasons, especially the battle pass. Just S tier for the skins that we got, S tier for the battle pass. It just looked amazing. Alright, moving on to another big part of every season, the map. You know, the map changes that we get, and this season had a lot of amazing and iconic POIs that got changed. Holy, I think this is one of the best maps we have. I know this is an unpopular opinion, maybe, but the agency is easily my favorite POI. I think it's one of the best that they've ever done. It just looks so cool, and I know it's not a super big POI, but I just love the secret agent vibe. We also have the yacht, which is one of the coolest things that happened, because Meowscles was there for a little bit, and then Deadpool took over the yacht, and then it was all decorated for Deadpool, and I just think that was such a cool thing for them to do. Just a lot of the changes and stuff going on in the season were so unique, like I said. We also had all the ghost and shadow bases all around the entire map, which was one of the best additions. I know it's such a small addition, but I just love the ghost and shadow war that was going on, and these bases were such a good addition to it. Also, I know this is a really small change, but I love the helipad under Pleasant Park. I have no idea why. Also, like I said earlier, we got introduced to the bosses this season, and we had a really good amount of them, and obviously the most iconic characters got their bosses, which I thought was probably the best thing that they could do. Because the map wasn't littered with bosses, but it had a good amount of them, which gave you a lot of leisure on where you wanted to land due to if it had a boss or not. And these bosses were in the top 2 because what made them so unique is that they actually had their own gun as their mythic instead of a gun that you could just find somewhere else. And the vehicles this season weren't bad. The chopper, I know this is kind of crazy, but it's one of my favorite vehicles that we've ever had. Maybe that's because of nostalgia, I don't really know, but I just love the chopper so much. And the boats are still hanging around too. But yeah, this is easily one of the best maps we've ever had. I just think the changes were maybe a little small to some people, but I think they were really good and really iconic. And I think due to these POIs being so much smaller, it let them really detail them more and make them so much better than they would have been if they were a lot bigger. Now the loophole is usually a make or break for each season, and this season definitely made it because this is by far one of the best loopholes we've gotten in Fortnite in its entire history. I don't care what you say about Chapter 1 having the best loophole, Chapter 2, Season 2, and Season 4 had easily one of the best loopholes it's ever gotten. There were so many guns in this loophole, which I think makes it so good because you had so much leisure on which kind of gun you wanted to pick and what your loadout was going to be for the rest of the season. It was really good for competitive, I feel like. Maybe not the mythics, because, you know, if you got sprayed, you got sprayed, but overall, I think that it helped you a lot against the mythics, because, you know, you could pick the gun that you were best with if you go out that fight with a lot more certainty than you would with the gun that you didn't have as much experience with. And it wasn't even the fact that they unvaulted this many guns that made it good, it was the guns that were so good themselves. The tac shotgun and the pump shotgun are really the only shotguns you need in the game, and I'm fine when they add others, I'm not complaining about it, I just really love these two guns. The Scar, Burst, and Heavy AR are also some of the only ARs you need, they're just so fun. I think the only thing that would have made this season better is if they added the tactical AR, but I'm happy they didn't because it was already hard enough to pick between the AR and the Burst AR. The SMGs are pretty good too, but I don't really care for SMGs because most of them are basically the same to me. The mythics were also insanely fun, especially if you're a controller player, which I am, so you know, I had a blast with that aim assist. And like I said, what made these mythics worth picking up is that they were actually exclusive to their boss. You couldn't get this gun anywhere else. And I mean the gun, like you couldn't get the gun anywhere else. Like I'm not just talking about the gun's rarity here. There was also other fun items added like the box and the umbrella, which were cool. I didn't really use them that much. Oh, maybe the box because it was fun to troll people with, but you know, the umbrella, it was alright. But I would say that Loophole's main strength was just the guns in general. It was just so good to have all of those in the game. And from what I remember, we had chug splashes, so I really cannot complain about the heals. Overall though, they did not bullshit us with this loophole like they did in Season 6 or Season 8, so I was just really happy with it. Now, one thing I've really just missed with the season is how unique it was and how much special things it did, and this is really up until like Season 4 when they stopped doing the Battle Pass screens. I know this sounds like a really small thing, but I think this is where like these really special events ended. I just remember how cool it was watching these little trailers you got for each character and just how much work they actually put into the season. Like these small things were just super important to really build an amazing season altogether. And I think it's really what Fortnite is missing today. And they are starting to kind of bring it back like they did with Chapter 5 with these new game modes, which is pretty cool. I kind of fuck with them. But yeah, honestly, Fortnite just needs to start doing these more creative things again, and I really think it will be up there like it used to be. We also had the Travis Scott event, which I didn't even end up going to, but I know a lot of people loved it, and it's one of the most iconic events we've had, so we obviously have to mention that. And the finale event was also pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't crazy compared to like the Galactus event, but it was pretty chill and it was pretty fun. The Fortnite events are always just nice to get together with friends and just watch them. I don't know. But yeah, those are some things that I didn't really know what category to put them in, so I'm just mentioning them now before I end the video. But yeah, overall, I usually like to give you my opinion and then go through the information so that maybe you can understand the opinion that I have, or even maybe combat it with my arguments. But yeah, I think through a lot of the information I showed you guys can understand kind of why I consider the season to be so amazing and so much higher than a lot of the other seasons that Fortnite has had. And like I always say this, the main thing in a game always comes down to being fun. And I just think Season 2 was just such a fun season. It really was what represented Fortnite as a fun game. I will always say this season is sort of what got me into Fortnite because I didn't really like the OG seasons. I just wasn't a fan of them. I didn't think they were that fun, but I really connected with Season 2 and I just thought it was so great. And I think that season, which could make me, someone who used to hate Fortnite, love the game and consider it one of my favorite online games of all time, I gotta respect it for that. I mean, I think that's a lot in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of people that are on the same boat as me. Maybe they didn't hate Fortnite in the Chapter 1 area, but I think there's a lot of you that will probably agree with me on this, that Chapter 2 Season 2 was definitely peak Fortnite. And I think through all these things that I mentioned and all the things that they added to the game to make it so much better than what it was in Season 1, is really what made this game memorable, especially in such a rough time in the world like 2020. I think it's really what pushed Fortnite to a new level that it was never really at before this.